Hi everyone, this is a somatics practice. So you might notice I've got a blanket. This is a floor-based practice, so you need to be warm. I've popped a jumper on. I want to put your socks on. And this one is specifically if you're suffering with your back right now. Obviously, always follow the advice of your physician or your physiotherapist. But this one is specifically aimed at freeing off the back muscles of the body. And it's with thanks and gratitude to my teacher, Lisa Peterson, for introducing me to this practice, and to Thomas Hanna, who developed the somatic system. So what I'd like to do is come and lie down once you've set up. Make sure you're comfy. Put yourself down. So we start with a soma scan. So if you're in quite a lot of discomfort for your back right now, you might have to keep your knees bent, your feet on the ground. If you feel happy to extend your legs, just slowly extend the legs and see how the back responds to that. Remember, you can always change your position. It's so important that you learn to listen intuitively to the needs of your own body. The teacher's here to guide you, but inherently you're in charge of your own being. So how does this body rest on the ground today? Starting down at the heels, notice the weight of the heels into the ground. How the legs roll out gently from the hips, if your legs are extended. Coming up into the pelvis. And we give a little weight through the bones of the pelvis to the ground. So feel in balance the pelvis and the two halves. And how your back rests. You've got a big arch through the lumbar. Feel like you're resisting the ground. You allow the shoulder blades to spread and the whole of your back to begin that process of releasing and spreading across your mat. Are you noticing that you're holding here? Let the arms rest by your side. Release through the back of the head. If you have to just gently turn the head side to side, do that a few times. You might need to wriggle the jaw or gently swallow to help release the jaw, any sticking of the roof of the mouth with the tongue. So scanning this whole body right now, in this moment. How are you? Can you use every out-breath to help you soften a little more now? Take up as much space as you need. So your mantra throughout the class is less is more. It's one I use often in somatics and one that Lisa uses often too. Less is more. And there's learning in the slowness of the practice. You can't feel if you rush through everything. So I'm going to slide the left knee out to the side and bring the knee up, placing the foot on the ground, and do the same on the right side. A little effort as possible, bending the knees, placing the feet on the ground. So I don't want to have the heels too close in that I'm pulling through the fronts of the hips, and I don't want them so far away that I'm not connected to the ground. Focus the breath down into the navel, and as you expand the belly, just gently tilt forwards in your pelvis. If it was a clock face, you'd be moving the pelvis down towards the 6. And then As your belly softens, draw the pelvis back to 12. So this is arch and flat. So I'm going to gently roll forwards in the pelvis and back. And again, if you are really suffering, 50%, no more in your movement. Have this crazy connotation that we have to do our maximum at everything. And the great teaching is to back off. And then I can notice, okay, am I holding the head, the shoulders? Put the focus really down into the pelvis for you today. How are you moving through the pelvis? Do you feel like you're tilting to one side, or you don't feel level? It's not a straight line from 12 to 6 and 6 to 12. Just feeling in. It's a good practice to do every day, arch and flatten. Just taking a few more rounds. Seeing if the movement changes as you gently rock forwards and back. How you respond in your body. And then what I'd like you to do is draw your right knee up. You either hold the back of the knee, especially if you've got any knee issues going on, or the shin, whatever's comfiest. And I'm going to continue with the rocking forwards and back in the pelvis, but now I've got the knee into the chest. I'm just seeing, can I feel what occurs in my body when I've got my knee into the chest? So as I rock forwards, what happens in my leg? And as I rock back, what happens? This inner connection. What I might do is, as I roll forwards in the pelvis, just apply a gentle pressure to the shin to resist the leg moving forwards a bit. And then as I rock back, can I soften the thigh into the chest just a little? So again, I'm not pulling it to an extreme. I'm just gently noticing as I rock forwards and back. Noticing where I feel the muscles, and you can imagine the lower back muscle lengthening as it does so as the knee comes into the chest a bit more, and shortening as you move your knee forwards and rock forwards and back. Good. How does that feel on that side? So I'm going to bring the knee into the chest, and there's not much passive lengthening goes on in somatics, but for today we'll just extend the left heel down the mat and see the response in the body. Of course, if it's too much, just rebend the knee, place the foot on the ground. If you're happy to, hold it for just a little bit longer. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice, easy breaths. I'm just going to gently release the right foot to the ground and slowly slide that leg long next to the other one. And just take a moment to assess, notice the sides of the body. How do I feel? The right side to the left. Constantly checking in, resting and digesting. And slide the knees back up, placing the feet back on the ground, and change sides. I'm going to bring the left knee into the chest. And gently start that subtle pressure as I rock forwards in the pelvis, and the melting as I rock back. A gentle forwards and back. Ooh, a little shudder going on in this side of my body. How is it in your body right now? Again, are you rushing? Are you putting too much pressure through? Where are you resisting? All these little questions flitting through the mind as you work through it. And noticing what slides short and what slides long in the muscle movement. Remembering that all the muscles work together normally in pairs. If one's going long, the other's going short. And just noticing forwards and back. Good, well done. You might find that you have to spend a little bit longer on some of these poses. If you do, you can always just pause and work a bit longer. Today, I'm just going to draw the left knee in and slowly slide the right heel long down the mat. And just pause there. Notice the body and the feelings in the body. I use the breath to aid the release when I move into a more passive held pose. I'm going to gently release. Again, just allow that leg to slide next to the other one on the ground. Let the legs rest. Just notice is my lower back beginning to start to release. So we're on our beginnings of our journey in our somatic practice today. So I'm going to leave the right leg long and slide the left leg up, and the left foot place the left foot on the ground. I come back to my arch and flatten with the right leg long. So I'm going to arch, and as I flatten, I'm going to lift from my center the right leg. Doesn't have to lift more than an inch or so off the ground. I'm going to slowly lower it down. It definitely doesn't need to come higher than your other knee. As it comes down, I'm going to let it rest and let my pelvis gently roll forwards. So I'm rocking back, flatten and lift. Again, working from the center, so I'm going to really be mindful here that I'm not rolling onto my right side as I lift my leg. So now as I flatten, I'm going to add a spiral to the legs. I'm going to lift and let the leg spiral out. So the ankle stays in line with the hip. I'm not moving the leg away from my body. I'm just turning the leg out as I lift it. And then I bring it down, let it all relax. Just add a few more times, flatten, lift and let the leg spiral out. And as it comes down, it spirals itself back. And then I relax at the bottom. So you might have to take a bit longer in the relaxed state if you find it difficult to let the body switch off. It will come with practice. And it's really important you learn to rest your body. And this practice is really good at that. Rest. So now what I'm going to do is just slide that leg out a little way. So don't go too far out. Again, less is more. Keep a real firm connection into the navel. I'm going to arch. I'm going to flatten and lift that leg out from the midline now. And I like to have the leg turned out. So for me, I like to get that sense of contraction through my inner leg. And then I slowly lower it back down. Imagine those muscles lengthening as I lower the leg down. And then I let everything switch off and rock forwards. Twice more, I'm going to rock back, lift the leg. And slowly lower it down. And just notice where you feel that in your body. You might not feel it. For me, this is down my inner leg. So I'm going to rock back. Once more, lifting the leg in the flattening. And watching that left side of the pelvis is not lifting up. I want my core to help me with this. Once the leg's down, I'm going to gently bring that leg back into the midline. Maybe just send the other leg to it for a moment, and again just assess how is the right side feeling compared to the left. I'm going to slide the right knee up. Again, you can always take longer with these. So I'm going to arch, flatten, and lift the leg, and then slowly take it down. And you'll probably notice as well when you work with these that one side is a lot stronger than the other. So this practice is really good for helping us balance out the sides of our body as well. Just going to start to spiral the leg as I work in that first leg lift, and then slowly bring it back down. You might notice that you've got more mobility in one hip than the other. This is specific for the psoas muscle, which is the long muscle that connects the top part of the body to the bottom, and it sort of wraps around from back to front. So what I want you to do is, as I come down, I'm going to arch, I'm going to flatten, and imagine that leg, that muscle engaging, and slowly bringing the leg down, and letting that muscle soften and lengthen. We'll just do one more on this leg lift one, lifting the leg, let it gently spiral, and slowly bring it down. Give it a little shake out if it's not resting. Do it that between each cycle if you find that it's struggling. I'm going to take the leg out from the midline. I'm going to arch, flatten, work from the navel. So I'm really engaging through my core to lift that leg up. If you find that you're really tilting, then you need to bring the leg in a little bit, and maybe don't lift it high off the ground at all, just an inch or so. Arch, flatten, lift. And again, you might feel it differently in this leg. Is it less or more for you? Sometimes if I'm really tight, I might do a few more on one side, just to help it on its journey. How's the core today? Are you connected in your centre? Bring that leg down. Gently bring that leg back into its centre. Extend the other leg to it and just pause and rest. How do I feel? Am I starting to melt in the back of the pelvis into the ground a little bit more? Is it still resisting? You might not be able to stay long with your legs extended. So as always, if it feels really uncomfortable in your back, then bend the knees, place the feet back on the ground. So one more, just to help lengthen through the back body before we work a little bit in the back lifts. So I'm going to rebend the knees, place the feet on the floor. I'm going to do arch and curl. So I'm going to support the head with my hands. We're going to arch. I'm going to flatten. Think about engaging through the front body so I can lengthen the back body, and then bring the elbows towards each other. And then slowly peel that back down. Letting the elbows spread. Once I'm down, let the pelvis rock forwards. So I'm going to lightly press down and away in the feet to help me with the lift. Lengthen through the back muscles, bring the elbows in. And then slowly peel it down. Arch and curl. And again, you can even visualize a lot of these movements. Still fires the muscles. But make sure you're supporting your head. I want to lengthen through my back. Slowly bring it back down. Just do a couple more. So I'm going to flatten and lift. Elbows come forwards. Pulling through the core. So with this last one, we're going to stagger coming down. So I'm going to arch, flatten, engage through the feet, Lift up, elbows come forwards. Come down, the elbows open a little and pause. Come down a little more, let the elbows sway a bit more. Pause. Down a little more, pause. Down a little more, pause. Come all the way down, let the elbows spread. Let the body rest. Just pause. Use the hands on the back of the head. You could always take a wash rag twist here, so bring your arms out from your sides. Right palm up, left palm down. Turn to look to your right as you inhale, take your knees over to the left. Exhale, rolling back through, using those core muscles. Change the arms and go to the other side. Come back through and just do that a couple of times. I really like this little twist, and a lot of you come to my classes and know this. Coming back into the centre. Again, you can do more if you feel like you need to. So from here, you're going to roll onto your belly. And I'm just going to rest my head on my hands. I just lift my head up a little so I don't get muffled with the sound, but you'll rest your forehead on your hands. And just notice how you feel when you come to lie on your front body. So we're not doing many of the back lifts today, just 3 of each. And again, you can pause. You could just do 1. You could stay with the first variation, not do the second. It depends how your back is today. You might not even lift your leg. So I'm going to bring the left hand out, take my right arm down by my side and look to my left hand. I don't want it so close that I'm hugging up through the shoulder, and I don't want it so far away I haven't got the support of the forearm. Should be comfortable in the shoulder. So all you're going to do is sort of lightly press through the forearm. Make sure you're engaging through the front of the pelvis to lift up the chest, and just gently turn to look over the left shoulder. And that might be it. Rest when you come down, remember. For those of you who want to, as you press through your left forearm, lift up, lift your right leg up. Nice and straight, don't bend the knee. Then come down. So I like to inhale away from the ground. You might decide to work the breath differently. In somatics, they're not overly concerned with breath per movement. So I'm going to transition into back lift 2. You could stay with the first one. So I bring the hand under the side of the cheek. It stays glued to the cheek. Again, leg can be involved or not. I'm going to start lift the elbow and then lift the head, lift the leg, and a subtle twist as I look to the left and come back down. So all the time the hand stayed on the face as I lift up, pause and rest. I'm going to lift up, subtle twist. And notice it's not huge. Even less than this. I'm still feeling my back muscles contracting and releasing. Last one. Lift up, release down. Good, well done. You might want to pause and rest in between. Again, I won't put my head down because I'll be muffled. But just place your forehead on your hands and just pause. Imagine you're breathing into your back body. You're expanding that back body, and as you breathe out, it's all softening, all releasing. You give more weight through the front body as the back body lets go. You can give the hips a little rock side to side if you feel that's appropriate for you. So then I change sides. So the left hand comes down by my side. I turn my head to look to my right hand. I'm going to get the leg straight involved this time. You can always leave the leg out, remember. Up I go, and back down. Making sure I switch off the muscles. Inhale, rising up. Looking over the right shoulder. And exhale. What muscles are you feeling engaging as you lift up? And are you noticing if any of those muscles are not quite switching off when you come back down? And we're going to go into back lift 2. Slide the right hand under the side of the face. Breathe in, lift the elbow up. Sweep a little bit. You can go with that right shoulder. And down. Just 2 more. Rising up. Coming down 2. Pause and rest. Always take a few breaths if you need to. Coming up. And coming down. With the left hand up. And just pause again. Breathe into it. Few breaths. Expand and relax. Letting go. And from there, when you're ready, you'll gently push yourself back into child's pose just for a moment. So you could either just bring the hands with you, rest the forehead on the hands. You can take your arms back behind. Again, I'm just not going to put my head directly on the floor so I don't muffle. You could keep your arms out in front. Whatever feels good for you right now. Take a few grounding breaths. Noticing what it feels like in that child's pose. How's your back? And then we're going to come up into what we call, or Lisa, my teacher, calls come in a garden, a cat, and I quite like that. So, just sort my blanket out, sorry. Have the knees approximately in line with your hips. And the hands under the shoulders. Again, some of you might have to take the hands forwards a little for your shoulders. So, you know, when I come into this, it's like doing a little dancing cat before you start to settle yourself. If you watch your cat, you know, notice they don't just lie down, they actually maneuver and make sure they're really relaxed and comfortable. So I'm just going to lift the heart, the sit bones, look forwards, create an extension through the spine, tuck the chin and round. So I'm creating some flexion. Just doing that a few times and noticing, again, if I'm working in a somatic sense, what feels like it's sliding long in the muscular system and what feels like it's sliding short. And can I take my awareness fully into my back muscles? Can I feel them shortening? And then can I feel them lengthening out? We're going to transition this into what we call the multifidus cat. So what I'd like you to do is just keep the top of the foot on the ground, but just pick your left knee up and then place it down and round. So the heart comes forwards and I lift the knee up, place the knee down and I round. Now don't let your knee come out to the side or forwards or back, just pick it up and watch that you don't lean as well. So I'm staying equally through the other 3 points of contact to the ground. And let's see what that feels like on the other side. So I'm just going to start picking right knee up. Place it down. Remember, less is more. There's a little bit of coordination involved with this one. Just getting all the little muscles along your spine to work, to lengthen and shorten. What do you feel though in it? I really like this one. And then let's see what that feels like in the hands. So if I do it to the arm, don't bend your elbow. And again, just watch you don't take your hand forwards or out to the side. I'm just going to do the left one to begin. You feel anything engaging as you lift your arm to help stabilize you. Just one more on your left hand and then we'll change. And then I'm moving slowly. Change hands. And you'll probably find as well that you've got more connection in one side than the other. Quite strong this for a small movement. Do one more. Lift it up. Round the spine, take the bum back to your heels. And if you're happy to sit on your heels, just gently release through the wrists a little bit. And you'll shake out. You always just roll them, extend them forwards, whatever feels good for you. Circle them. So we're going to move into crouching kitten next. So come back onto all fours. So now what I want you to do is slide the left leg away and pick it up. And notice if you go too high, we go into a big back bend. I don't want that. So I'm going to slide it long, keep that core tone, and then bring the knee forwards towards the nose. I'm going to keep the leg forwards and back. So if you do have any problems with knee flexion, just stay with this variation. Again, I'm trying to equalise the weight as much as possible. And the notice and the focus with this practice is feeling into the back. Where do you feel the work? Just one more. So you stay with this if you've got any of those knee flexion issues. If you're happy to, bring your knee forward, tuck the toe and place the foot on the floor and sit back. Tuck the chin in on the sitting back, so on full flexion of the spine, and then take the leg away. Now I'm not going for much back bend. I'm not going for much extension. And the crouch. And we'll just do one more on this side. Take the leg away. And then bring it back down. Again, you might want to just pause for a moment. Always turn the wrists up, the palms up. And then when you feel ready, take that to the other side. And then I'm just going to slide the leg long. Feel what stabilises me, what stops me falling over, and then bring the knee forwards and back. Gently looking forwards, so the knee goes back. Knee towards the nose as the leg comes forwards. And then I'm going to transition that into crouching kitten. So we're going to bring the knee forwards, tuck the toe and sit back. Don't worry if the knee goes out a little bit. Just working with a few more rounds of this crouching kitten. If you want to get the breath per movement involved, you can of course. Personally, I prefer to exhale as I sit back. And inhale as I draw the legs away and look forwards. I'll just do one more on this side. Notice we don't worry too much about counting and doing. Place that knee down. And again, I might just pause in child's pose. Take a few breaths there. And we'll just, when you're ready, finish this with 2 more movements. So you come onto your back once more, knees bent, feet on the ground. And all you're going to do is take your right leg over your left in a full thigh cross. I'm not going to worry too much about the arms today. What I'd like you to do is just gently rock through the back of the pelvis. Take the knees over to the right and then feel through the back of the pelvis to bring the knees back upright. So I'm just gently rocking. I'm not taking it into a deep reaching twist. Gently rocking. You might start to let yourself release in this. And I notice that I'm holding on through my neck and my shoulders. And if I just let myself be in the ground, and my head naturally just goes in the direction it wants to go. So the knees go over. Just a couple more on this side, gently rolling through the back of the pelvis. How does that movement feel? Again, if you've got any specific issues going on, disc issues, etc., you will back all of this down. Less is more. And back into the center. Change the cross of the legs. Left leg comes over the right. And I just see how it goes the other way. Gently rocking. Notice I'm not going all the way over. Even though I could if I wanted to, I'm not. Because I'm just getting a feeling. Feels quite nice if you do less, you know. Relaxing for the body. How often do you let yourself relax completely? Especially in your movement. It's almost like we can't help ourselves. Feel that we should do more, push our body more all the time. How about resting it a bit? How about actually honouring, listening deeply to it and how it moves? Is it easier this way for you or harder? I'm going to come back into the centre and cross my legs. I'll just bring my arms down a little and go back into my arch and flatten. Let the belly expand, roll forwards, soften and roll back. And how is my pelvic movement? Sealing in the practice. We tend to bookend somatics with arch and flatten. It's like the checking in, noticing. When you feel ready to, you can slowly extend your legs. The arms come out from your sides, take up some space. Get yourself really spread across the ground. Again, if this is too much for your back, you have a bolster, pop a bolster under your knees, or keep your knees bent, your feet on the floor, or you could lie on your side or your belly. Take a breath in and sigh your breath. And how is your body now? Resting on the ground. Just map through it. Starting again with your heels. Do you feel a little more weighted? How do the legs feel? Your pelvis. Your back. How is it as it rests now? Whatever you've chosen to pause. In the shoulders and the arms, in the back of your head. Relaxing the facial muscles in your eyes. Your tongue resting in your mouth. The jaw is unclenched and at ease. So give now this body to the ground. Let it rest. Let it be at ease. You relax completely. You can always stay here as long as you like. leave you there. I hope you've enjoyed this somatic session. Take care, everyone.